Hello everybody, this is Markafloss. Jokes and terrible voice attempts aside, I'm going to be teaching you how to do texture optimizations. It's a really simple process. It takes just a few minutes, depending on how in-depth your avatar is. But it should be the same. There's a couple of bullet points I'm going to go over first. Number one is this is going to assume that you already have the content creator companion, that you already know how to open up your avatar, you already know how to use the most up-to-date form of Unity for VRChat, and you know a little bit about the shaders that you use. If you do not, I highly recommend that you watch a couple of YouTube videos, you'll learn a little bit about that before doing this tutorial. That being said, I'm just going to jump right into it. I've already set my avatar up to be very poorly optimized, and you can see how optimized your textures are when you go up to VRChat SDK. You just go into your control panel. And down here, you can see my overall performance is very poor. My texture memory usage is a whopping 158, almost 159 megabytes. And the maximum is 150. Well, that's a problem. How do we lower that? Well, it's real simple. You do it right inside Unity. You don't got to use any external programs or any sort of downsizing. It'll do it automatically for you with just a few mouse clicks. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go into my body because that's where I edited stuff. And we're going to go, I use Poyomi, so it might look a little different for you, but it's the same no matter what. Go to wherever your textures are, and it can be applied to normal maps, alpha maps, anything that uses any sort of picture can be optimized and downsized. So the first thing we're going to do is find our body texture. We're just going to click that. Oops. We're going to click that. When you see it highlights it down here for you. That's the one that's being used in that slot. So we're just going to right click that. And we're going to hit properties. And here is where the magic is. All we're going to focus on is this little box right down here at the bottom. You see it says max size. It's all the way up to 16K. We also have compression levels. Those are the only two things we're going to focus on. For body, I like to keep it at a 2K texture, at a medium quality, normal quality. My apologies. When we apply that, we go over to body. We're just going to discard those changes. We go over to body, and let's lock this into place. You can see that the texture for my body is 22.37 megabytes. That should update when it gets brought down. And you just click apply. And it didn't update. Oh well. But either way, it brings it down from 16K to 2K. And with a normal compression rate. By default, everything is set to high compression. That does affect overall texture memory size. But we're just going to do that for all of these. I'm going to show you a few tips that I like to do. For my masks and my maps, like this one here, I like to bring that down to a 1K and set that to low quality. And that'll help with the overall size there. There we go. We had to kind of force update it. But now you see it brought it down from, over 20 to, well, now my body texture is only 5 and my normal map's only 1. That's a big drop. And if you do that for all of your things, so here I use a ton of this type of stuff, like subsurface scattering and everything, reflections, but I mostly focus here, I'm going to focus here on the cube maps and matte caps. So matte caps, you just go over to where they are, and just like your textures, bring that down. Now those, I like to bring it down to 512 on low. They don't need to be super high quality. They really don't. They can be brought down even lower than that, depending on how big of an area. If it's not that big of an area being used up, you can make that a super small detail. So for the mask here, I'm just going to do 512, low quality on the mask. And in fact, I believe the only part that matte cap affects is here. So I'm going to bring that down even lower on the cube map itself. I'm going to bring that down to 256. And the same is going to happen with the cube map. We're just going to drop down the cube map. Now, my cube map is a little more extensive. That's what's on my arms. That's what makes my, body shiny. So I'm going to keep that at 512. And bring it down to low quality. And the mask, I'm going to make 1K low quality. And this is a great way to optimize your textures automatically. It brings down their memory size. And when we lock this in, if we go up to our SDK filter, now you can see the overall performance is medium. And my texture memory usage dropped down to 81. That's a massive drop down, seeing as how it was over 150 before. And that was only going into a few textures on the body material. You also have, like on this avatar, you have the fluff, the visor, the lens, the blush, the eyes. For me, I have streetwear, so if we unlock this, we go over to our streetwear, you have my shorts, which I customized as well. You have all sorts of textures there. I get really detailed with the shorts here and do all sorts of different stuff with it. It's just a simple matter of just right click the texture, go on over to properties, resize this. If you're not sure what numbers to do, just experiment. You can always revert it back to what it was before if you don't like the look. You just want to experiment with what looks good and optimized. It's a careful balance. But yeah, other than that, tutorial, that's pretty much done. It's real simple. Like I said, just a few mouse clicks and you can optimize your textures. All right, floss out.
Right.